The sad reality of sexual gender-based violence. Most cases which has for years been swept under the carpet. Sexual gender-based violence is a global problem. It does not choose size, height, race, or social status. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time, male or female.
I was sexually abused at the age of 7 by a relative that was living with us.
Actually, it's so painful because I was living in the same house with the guy. I had the first child, so I made a promise to myself to go back to school, but he insisted on having a second child out of my will. So I keep on refusing.
It happened 10 years ago. I was a friend to this family. They also had somebody who lived with them. It was like their house help. So it was that's 2010, that's 2012, New Year. This guy came to my house telling me that his parents wanted me to spend Christmas with them and I should come with him.
Actually, I don't know where I would say I'm a survivor or a victim, but I will use survivor. Champion. Yeah, champion, thank you. 3 cases. 2010, 2013, and 2020.
Story is as long as birth. I've been 15 years in this relationship. It's a marriage.
In Cameroon, especially in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, it is estimated that over 56% of women have suffered violence in their homes and relationships at some point in their lives. This is a chat session with survivors of sexual gender-based violence, champions, who after years of trauma, hardship, bitterness and staying silent, they are ready to speak out and encourage others to give the African woman her voice back.
It took place in our house. Since we were living in a small house, we had to sleep boys and girls. He was the elderly one, so every night he would always take advantage of me, or when our parents are not around, because he was not my blood brother, but the cousin.
So that night, he went out, came back to the house, so drunk. He has to use force on me. So I never thought, put in my mind that thing would lead to pregnancy.
When we got to the house, I realized that we're the only ones there. There was nobody in the house. I later on found out that the parents were not spending New Year's, but meant that they were in the village. So when we got in, he locked the door and he was like, when I asked where everybody was, he was like, it's just us, and he brought me here because he loves me and he wanted to spend the day with me. I was like, why did you have to lie to me? That was when he started coming closer and I tried to fight back. God knows I fought. I screamed. I fought until I could no longer fight again.
So they told the guy I was working with to run back, and they took me to the field. They had a knife. They kept it at the side, and they asked me to pretend as though I'm discussing with them, and we should be going. We went now into the school compound. They asked me to undress. They took all my money, asked me to undress, and 3 of them had their way. I was still a virgin.
The first 7 years of my marriage were, in fact, I still have butterflies in my belly when I think about it. It was a wonderful marriage. I saw love. I found love in this guy, the father of my children, and I did not want it to stop. I did not want it to end. But the last 7 years or so, trouble stepped in. What do I mean? I saw the red flags. I could see because my husband and I lose physical attraction for each other. What at times would be our bonding factor, our bonding moment, let me call it sex, or the funny things we used to do together, which I would like, we could no longer do them together for one reason or the other.
The scars sometimes can be physical, but others are marked in their heart. The consequences may sometimes lead to death. It is hard because when one survives, they are left to live their lives trying to cope with the horrible physical and psychological trauma.
I was more angry because I could put my career on hold to mend our kids together. He could not put his own. I think I put my head on a guillotine for it to be cut. And those were moments in my life when I started hating on God, because I kept asking God, why do I love you the way I love you? Why do I serve you the way I serve you on the altar? And you cannot change my husband's situation. What is happening to my marriage?
How are you?
I cannot say I'm fine. Yes.
Tell me how you feel.
Hatred, revenge. Any other person involved in rape, I'll do it. Men are so heartless. Men are so callous. I hate men. Thank you. Every day as it passes, I felt I was good, though I had that hidden feeling in me like zero love for men. I could be in a relationship. What I discovered with me, I could be in a relationship, we are good. But there's just that one ugly day I will just start hating on you. But when it gets to that part of hatred, I feel like something is boiling in me that I can't control.
But for the past 10 years, I felt I was living a normal life. I felt everything was normal with me. I did not know how deep the pain of being raped had gotten into me, to the extent that I felt nothing for no man.
It is heartbreaking when a woman has to look at her reflection in the mirror.
I did not have self-esteem in myself. So when a man tells me you are beautiful, I come back to the house, I put the mirror in front of me and I look at the mirror and I don't believe myself, because he has talked down on me so much so that I lost self-esteem. Why my marriage was breaking when I had all the intelligence in my head. Certain things have to be on the hold. So problems start setting in. I need money and he cannot give me the kind of money I want. And I want to have my financial autonomy and I want to be able to touch this money I once touched. And I want to look good. I'm a girl, for crying out loud. I am just in my 20s. I am still flowering as a girl, as in I'm crazily beautiful. And I am stuck in the house with somebody who wants me to become a furniture, with somebody who does not want or does not embrace my maturing into a woman or embrace my career. So that's basically my story. It got to the level where I'm in the house with this man, but I'm in prison. I cannot talk. All I can do is cry myself out. And that is when depression came in. 3 years ago, I became very depressive. After having my master's, I had a job, and from nowhere out of the bloom, I resigned.
What is more depressing is when her own children can't understand, but end up blaming her for fighting with their dad.
It will begin to remind me and tell me often that, Mom, you are wicked, because anytime he shouts at me anytime my partner talks down on me, demeans me, puts me down low. I transfer the aggression to my children. So there were moments when I would lie on the bed and I am crying. I'm telling God, this is not the future I want for my children. Why should they see what they are seeing? Why should they tell me I am wicked? Yes, I had excess anger and violence in me that I want to transfer to my children, and my kids kept telling me, Mom, you are very wicked. I'll choose daddy over you. And I was like, oh my God.
But even in the toughest of days, in the darkest of hours, when all hope is gone and one realizes that they are helpless, still there are few people who come in to mend and shape their lives. Violence against women and girls is a big threat to global development. Instead of killing our women, we should empower them in all fields of life and remind them often that they have a voice and they have right too. There are a number of women and girls who are violated day in, day out. So many who choose to stick in bad relationships, suffer, and some eventually die in silence.
I in school and all the trauma, I could not bear it. And then it took just a night and everything went down. And that is how I've been living my life. I was not okay. I'm not been okay to the second incident now. The second incident happened 2013, November. This time around, I hid it.
It still hurts like it happened yesterday. Even after 10 years. It's the first time I'm speaking out like this session.
But it is time for women to realize that it is okay to start all over again, and that can only happen when they are intact and alive. Women need to know that they have the right to be free from any form of violence, even though most of them were trained to shut up, stay back, and persevere. It is hoped that women will be heard and be valued in our different communities. This production is realized with support from Support Up Clearing Sexual Gender-Based Violence Project and Women Deliver.